Okay, good evening everyone, and welcome to my card of the day with myself, Lady Moonlight. Today I've been called to use my angel cards, so I'm going to be using these ones. Let me just shuffle my cards while I'm waiting to see if anyone jumps on. So I've got my radio playing in the background because it's actually in the kitchen for my parrots. Let me just, I can just close this door a little bit. Okay, a little bit better because it's a little bit noisy out there. So let's just shuffle these cards and see where we go with these angel cards. I haven't used my angel healing cards for a while, so I thought I would give them a go for today's card of the day. So let's just give this a swipe. Sometimes the comments show once the swipes. Now I will be back this evening for my weekly come along and choose a card for you. So do come along to this evening's card reading. Starts at 9:30, finishes at 11:30, and during that 2-hour slot you can come along to my live right here on the Mystic Witch page, and you can ask me to pick a card specifically for you. It's on a first come first chosen basis. Obviously if there's no shows, I'm not going to be sitting talking to myself for 2 hours. It will, if you do come along between 9:30 and 11:30 and I'm no longer there, chances are that I've been sitting shuffling cards waiting for people to join, and have to cancel the card reading. So if you do want to pop along, come along about 9:30. I will, even if you can't stay for the whole card reading, come along at 9:30, ask me to pick you a card. I will pick a card for you, and I will do it in order of first come first served, and I will write your name down. And even if you can't stay till your card reading or your card is read, that's absolutely fine. I will tag you with the name, with the time of your reading. But you can come along at 9:30 and ask me to pick a card for you, even if you can't stay for the whole card session. So please do not message me and say, can you put me on your card list? I used to do that, and what I found was people were coming along to the live readings at 9:30 and could not get a space when they asked for a card because my list was already full. So I'm going to make it that if you would like a card read this evening at 9:30 on the Mystic Witch Facebook page, if you're watching this on YouTube, then come along at 9:30 and ask me for a card, and I will definitely do a card. Now a card has just fell out of this pack, so I'm going to use that for today's card. Be willing to forgive, okay, is the message on this card. And I love the be willing to forgive. Again, be willing to forgive. It's a green angel, right? Green is, for chakra, right? Chakra color of the heart. And forgiveness is the most hardest, but yet the most rewarding thing that you can do in your life, right? It's far better to not forget than it is to not forgive. Alright, because holding grudges is a negative, it's a negative thing. If people have done wrong to me, I don't hold a grudge. I forgive them because it's their actions, it's their, how they behave, how they treat people is their responsibility, not mine, right? I'm responsible for my own actions. I'm responsible for my own words. I'm responsible for my own behaviors, etc., and how I treat other people. So I've been through abuse, I've been through bullying, etc., etc. And I could spend my whole life hating those that have bullied and abused me. But where would that get me? Absolutely nowhere, right? So what I do is, I say to the universe, I forgive that person for their attitude, for their behavior, for the way they've treated me. I forgive them. I might not forget, because with me not forgetting about it means that I'm preventing myself from being a target for bullying, etc. in the future. But when I forgive them, I'm leading the way with love and not hate. All right, and not there's no revenge or whatever else. A lot of people fear witches because of our curses and etc. I can count on the fingers of one hand how many times I've actually had to curse somebody, and the behavior would have to be really, really, really extreme for me to have to do that. Why? Because when you curse somebody, that's a negative. Cursing someone is meaning harm on someone, right? You're intent on harming someone, right? That's a negative. I don't do harming anyone, whether it be a human being, a creature, or whatever. On this, I will speak my truth. There is a difference. I will be honest with you. I will always say it as it is. If you're attacking me, I will say I'm not willing to put up with that. And I would prefer to carry on in a positive manner and leave the bullies, etc., etc. behind, but wish them well and always, always forgive. And I've met so many people that when this card comes out and they'll say, but Lady Moonlight, I can't forgive. I can't forgive somebody's wrong because it hurt deep, right? And I get that. I totally get that, right? Because words can hurt. Emotional abuse, bullying, nasty name calling can hurt. And it can hurt at a soul level, which is a deep level. And nobody ever was going to say that forgiveness is easy to do. It's not. But in terms of negative or positive, if you can forgive your enemies and walk away knowing that you have forgiven their wrongs, what you're basically doing is leaving them with that on their conscience, not yours, right? Because we all know universal karma, right? If we do good by other people, we get good back. If we do wrong by other people, we get wrong back, right? So the last thing we want to do is to make two wrongs, because that don't make a right, as my mother used to say. Two wrongs will never make a right. So if somebody hurts you and you decide, I'm not forgiving that person, that doesn't make it right. That's just two wrongs. They've wronged you, you've wronged them by not forgiving, right? And how can you lead by example if you can't forgive? Right? So what I do is I forgive those who have done me wrong, and I just take myself out of their life. I'll be polite, I'll continue to talk to them, but I just move on. And I surround myself with positive people and people that don't do me or my partner or my family any wrong. In doing that, I've forgiven their actions against me. Right? That's a positive. That's not a negative. That's a positive. Their actions against me, that's not my responsibility. That's theirs. They have to come to terms with that themselves. They're responsible for their own actions, just as I'm responsible for my actions. You know, I couldn't go and attack somebody verbally or otherwise, because it would make me feel so bad. I'm just not that type of person. Yes, I will speak my truth. If you're going to harm me or whatever else, I will tell you, sorry, I'm not putting up with that. Time for you to go or whatever. I wish you well with your life and blah, 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 and carry on, right? Would I ever do them or mean them wrong? No, not at all. Because that would be me being negative towards them. That would be me being just as bad to them as they are to me. So for as hard as forgiveness can be, if you can learn to forgive even the worst wrongs in this life and allow those wrongs to be dealt with by a higher force, i.e. by universal karma, one, you're going to be much happier. Two, there's no guilt on your behalf, right? There's nothing for you to be guilty about, right? Because you've returned their harsh words or actions with forgiveness, which is a positive. So they're giving you a negative, you're giving them a positive, and then you're moving on. You're literally just moving on. I've done that all my life. I've had so many enemies you would not believe, right? And my block list gets longer and longer every day. Once they're blocked, I don't have to think about them anymore. They've been forgiven, they've been blocked. I move on with my life, and I'm happier for that. And the result of that is that I have positive, I have a Facebook or an Instagram or a YouTube full of positive friends and family. Now there is nothing negative in that whatsoever, right? Okay, the negative ones took themselves out, and I'm left with those that mean me well as much as I mean them well, and that works for me. Right? I've always been a solitary witch. People come into my life for a reason, a season, or for long term. Lady Miyabi is one of my longest term best friend on this planet. She's more than a friend. She's a sister, and she's part of my family now. She's part of myself and my partner. She knows my ways inside and out, and as much as I know her ways inside and out. So she's a keeper. She's there for life, right? She supports everything that I do. I support everything that she does. We have built up a strong sisterly bond, right? There are other people that come into my life for a brief period and then disappear. That's absolutely okay. There are other people that would like to be a part of my life, but because they're not part of my tribe, because they're not part of who I am, or that they don't have the same ethics as myself, whatever, They come in for a short term and then they fade out, right? Doesn't matter. The whole point of this message in the card is learning to forgive others' wrongs. But not just others' wrongs. We're only human, right? We all say things on the heat of the moment. We all say things that we're not supposed to done or said, etc., etc. You know, and the biggest thing that you can do is forgive yourself and simply apologize. Doesn't matter if that person accepts or doesn't accept your apology. I always, if I make a mistake, I'm only human, I make mistakes, and I will always and forever apologize for any mistakes that I've done. If I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong, right? If I'm right, then, or if I feel that I'm right, or whatever else, I will ask you to, let's agree to disagree, whatever, right? But we are only human. So forgiving yourself as well, is maybe you have been the one that have bullied others or have harmed others, etc., etc. And you might be riddled with guilt for that, or maybe not, right? But if you're riddled with guilt because of it, forgive yourself first and foremost, and then change your ways. Just say, what? Lesson learned. I've lost more friends because I've bullied them than I have when I've not bullied them or whatever. So I'm going to forgive myself for my past demeanours, leave it in the past, and then I'm going to move on. A much better, wiser, stronger person. Sadly, not everybody can do that. I've had abusers and bullies for my entire life, right? And I know some of my past bullies are still bullies. Some of my past abusers are still abusers, right? That's their way. They don't want to change. They don't even want to try and change. And that's their responsibility. That's their karma. That's their life. I'm not going to take that responsibility on board. I'm just not. It's their behaviour, it's their actions, that's for them. The blame lies firmly on their doorstep, not mine. I'm only responsible for my actions. You're only responsible for your actions. Don't own other people's actions. Just don't own it. Forgive them, move on, but don't own it, right? And if they seriously want to change, then they'll learn to forgive themselves and move on and learn from their own actions, their own deeds, their own words, their own thoughts. Because sometimes it's not just the verbal, outspoken words that can hurt, or that are negative. Having bad thoughts about somebody as well, or willing somebody really any harm or whatever else, that's also a negative as well. Cursing somebody is also a negative. Personally, I would choose curses as a last resort. But let me tell you, if my close friends and family were in moral danger, or if their health was in moral danger because of somebody's attack, you better believe I'm going to curse them. Alright? Because to harm another one is just not on, especially if it's life-threatening. But for me, as I said, I can count on the fingers of one hand how many times I've actually had to curse anyone. Normally, I just forgive them and move on. I've been a solitary witch all my life. Forgiving and moving on is part of, something that is natural to me. Friends come and go in my life, and I'm okay with that. So, if this card has meaning for you, maybe you have some forgiving to do. Maybe it's time you forgave somebody for doing wrongs to you. Or maybe you're the one that's done wrong with others and you want to learn from that. Start with forgiving yourself for it and then learn from it and move on a better, wiser person. It's a true saying, treat others how you would like others to treat you. And you can't go far wrong. Alright? If you treat others harshly or cruelly, be it with actions, words, or ill deeds or ill thoughts, that's exactly how people are going to end up seeing you. People see you for how you behave, for your own words, for your own actions. It's called seeing your true colours. But if you can honestly be you, be true to you and who you are, you're showing your true colours all the time. But if you're trying to fool or deceive or fool someone, you're not being true to you. But at the same time, your true colours are still going to show, because people will see through your deceit. Maybe not today, not tomorrow, not the next day, but they certainly will see through any deceit that you are thinking or doing, etc., etc. So I hope this card has meaning for you. Forgiveness is something I find so easy to do. But I know many people, just through speaking to people, find forgiveness really, really difficult. And I get that. But if we can get through the forgiveness bit, and we can forgive and actually mean it. You know, there's no point in saying I forgive and in your head you're like, yeah, I'm going to say I forgive, but I'm not going to forgive. Alright? There's a difference between forgiving and forgetting. Right? It's okay to forgive and never forget the wrongs. Right? Because sometimes we have to remember the wrongs of other people to protect ourselves from being hurt again. So it's far better to not forget the wrongs of others than it is not to forgive the wrongs of others, if that makes sense. You know, I'll never ever forget the wrongs done to me. That doesn't mean I don't forgive the person that wronged me. I do forgive them because ultimately they taught me a lesson. They taught me not to get involved with such people. Right? That's a lesson learned. So they've given me a gift. And then that might sound crazy, right? How can an abuser, mental, physical or sexual abuser, whatever, give you a gift? They've gave you the gift of knowing what person to stay away from. I can forgive that quite easily. I don't want to forget their words or actions, because remembering those words and actions is going to protect me from anyone else that has similar behaviours towards me. So therefore it's easier to not forget than it is to forgive, if that makes sense. I hope that this has meaning for you if this is your card of the day. I look forward to seeing you all at 9:30 this evening for another come join me and I will pick a card for you. Until then, have a great evening everyone. Love and bright blessings to everyone. See you all later tonight. Bye for now.